Can you talk a little bit about that?
I can. So the schedule, so Mondays is every class, and then Tuesdays and Thursdays you have the same schedule, just like different specials every day. So you have like, this year I had like religion for 90 minutes and English, and then on Wednesdays and Fridays it's another different special. And yeah, so like you have 2 of the same days, which would be 4, and then Monday is all of them.
I have a question. When you talk about your special on one of those days, can you tell me how the specials work? Because I think it's a little bit different than when we're in 5th grade, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can one of you talk about that?
Yeah, I can.
Okay.
So on Tuesdays and Thursdays, you have, well, for me this year, I had 4 classes on Tuesday and Thursday, and we didn't have specials. And then on Wednesday and Friday, we had 2 specials on each of those days. And they were, so on Wednesday, I had computer and library. And then on Friday, I had art and music. So we have 2 specials on one day. And then the other days, you don't have specials.
I have a question though. I guess part of my question was, you have a 90-minute period, correct?
Yes.
So do you have library for 90 minutes?
No, you have it for 45 minutes.
Okay,
So it counts.
that's what I wanted you to tell them about.
For specials, you have 45-minute blocks because you have 2 classes a day. Or you have 2 specials on each day, so it would count as a 90-minute block because you have 45 minutes of each special.
So where we went 5th grade, went half of the year to library, half of the year to art, you have them all year long, correct?
Yeah.
And so when you leave your library class, do you go to computer? So you,
Well, for me, I had library before lunch, and then after lunch, I had computer.
Okay. So you would have them all you would have them like in that block, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and it might be divided by lunch, it might not be, but it doesn't matter. You would have that 90-minute, and if you went to art, after you left art, you would go to music, correct?
Yes.
Okay. 5th graders, do you understand that? So that's a little bit different. So that's so it's all year long. That's a good question. I like that one. What about, so schedules has been a question that was asked a lot about. How do you know what your schedule is? How do you follow your schedule? Is the schedule posted somewhere? What can you tell them about that?
So at the beginning of the school year, you get your schedule. Like you get a sheet of paper that has your schedule on it. And you can choose if you want to carry that around all year. You can keep it in like a binder, or you can have it in front of you when you change classes. But I memorized it. After the first few weeks, I just got used to it. So I just knew where to go.
How long does it take kids to memorize their schedule?
It took me 2 or 3 weeks just to get it memorized, because every day I just kept switching to classes. So I just started memorizing which classes I needed to go to.
Did anyone do anything in a different way? Because different things work for different people. So Dominic, memorizing worked for you. You got used to the routine and you knew. Did anybody do anything different or start off doing something in a different way?
Yeah, I started with it in front of me in a binder, but then that's the only reason I had the binder.
Yeah.
Because I didn't really use it.
In the beginning, carrying it around worked for you.
Yeah, because it had the schedule. I had a place for the schedule so I could look at the schedule. And then eventually just got used to going to the right classroom, having the right books at all certain times. So.
Okay. Let's talk a little bit about houses, because you guys remember last year on Step Up Day, the sorting ceremony. We went to the sorting ceremony and you were called into your different houses and things like that. So do you all remember feeling a little anxious about that, right? And not knowing who was going to be in your house, what house was going to be like. You hear all of these different stories about points and houses and contests and winning points and losing points and things like that. Can you tell them a little bit about, and I know 3 of you were in the same house, so that's a little bit difficult, but can you tell them a little bit about what house is like?
Yes. So pretty much in house, it's like where you start off the day. Instead of going to your homeroom, you go to house, and you leave from your house. So you have to go. So you start and end the day with your house. It would say that on your schedule. But you can lose like house points and stuff by like not doing homework, forgetting your books to get to class, and doing stuff that's not good. And you can earn house points by like getting honors, high honors and stuff, and like by being well behaved. Sometimes they will give out house
Great.
points. Yeah.
So one thing we didn't talk about with the middle school teachers in houses is how you're mixed 6th, 7th, and 8th graders all together, right?
Yeah.
Was that a little bit, I don't want to say scary, but did it make you feel a little bit anxious about being with the 7th and 8th graders going into and not knowing what it would be like and they're all mixed together? And how did that work out?
Yeah, well, I was a little nervous because I didn't know who was in my house. And then once I got sorted, I knew who was in my house. And then once we got to house after the ceremony, everyone was just like talking to each other and telling each other about house and how it was. And then everyone just got like closer.
So you would say you guys are, your house members, 6th, 7th, and 8th graders all together as a group are kind of close in your houses. You all kind of chit chat with each other and things like that.
Yeah.
And are the 7th and 8th graders, do you find, are you glad they're in there? Are they helpful to you in situations, especially in the beginning with moving to classes and kind of learning what junior high was like?
I thought
Yeah.
yes, because of our house captains. They told us like how to do like stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
And did you feel comfortable asking for help from those people? Was that good from your house
Yeah.
captain? Okay. All right, good. Let's see, I'm gonna move on from houses, I think, because I kind of got through all of that. How about, tell us a little bit about this. We know the schedule is you have class, you'll have your same classes on Tuesdays and Thursdays or Wednesdays and Fridays. Tell us about the workload and managing the homework and things like that. How does that work? Go ahead,
Okay,
Ellie.
so remember how I told you that we had the classes each twice every other day? So when homework is assigned that day, you have 2 days to do it, but it's better to do it the first day because the next day you'll get homework and stuff to do after school. So you should probably just do the homework and as much as you can do, like of the things that are assigned the first day they're assigned.
That sounds familiar.
Mm. Did you feel like it was doable? Your
Yeah.
workload?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I would say it's the same as 5th grade. Like the homework is about the same.
Okay.
Yeah, there's not much more.
Okay. We were actually, I'm going to pick on Tyler for a second because I can.
Oh boy.
Oh no! Don't pick on me.
Because I can.
No, please don't.
I can too.
We actually, Tyler and I were having a conversation last night talking about some of these questions and things like that. And I asked him if he could give you, the 5th graders, one piece of advice going into 6th grade, something that you really need to do in order to be successful and to feel comfortable in 6th grade. What did you tell me, Ty?
To always have your books organized and have your papers in the right folders. Always,
Why?
because you never know what you're gonna need for class.
Right? Your one word, if I said you could give them one word and you said organize. Keep yourself organized. Is it important, would you guys say, being that you don't have class every single day, is it important to write your homework down and make sure that you've got your things planned out? Dominic's shaking his head like a lot. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Dominic.
At the beginning of the 6th grade year, I was not organized at all. I had papers everywhere, and I was never organized, and I started like feeling like I didn't have all of the stuff for class. So, every time I was sent back to my house, which they don't do after a certain amount of time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important to be organized. because I at first didn't write my homework down. I missed some homework at the beginning of the year, and it was just awful because I started losing grade. I started losing some grades, and they dropped down because I didn't have anything written down or organized. So closer to the end of the year, I got everything organized, and I didn't lose much homework points at all. So
And how did that work for you once you organized yourself, Dominic?
it worked so much better. I was able to like get my stuff for class, and yeah, it is just so much better.
Make sure that you can find your things and things like that.
For me and Dominic,
Yeah.
Nelly, we were all in the same house and we're all in the same class. So at the end of the day, we would always meet in house and talk about our homework and what we had for homework.
So even if you're not, are you all in the same homeroom too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's weird.
Yep.
But you guys were able to help each other out. And during that time at the end of the day, is that a time where it's a little less structured so you can talk to people and you can kind of do those things?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but first you have to like pack up your bag and like for homework and stuff, and then you like talk about it.
Yeah, and
So
then you
there's
can like talk to your friends after you like done.
But the
Mhm.
expectation is that you're organizing yourself and getting yourself packed up first.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
And there's
would you recommend that they use each other and help each other and talk about that stuff to help each other organize?
Yeah, it's very helpful. Like I would have forgotten a lot of homework if I
some
didn't,
people
like, we
forget
didn't
to
meet
write
and
it
stuff.
down.
Yeah.
And then like one person will have something else that the other person didn't write down, and then they'll have something you didn't write down.
Mhm.
And just help each other pack up for when you go home.
So did you guys kind of compare agenda books sometimes and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
make sure you had everything you needed?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And even if you weren't in the same home room, you would still have similar assignments. They just might be due on a different day, correct?
Yeah, but
Yeah.
if you're in a different class, you might have that class a day before the other class, and it wouldn't be assigned for you yet.
Okay. So to try to find some people to help you, use each other. These guys, let me tell you something, 6th graders. These 5th graders are really, really good at helping one another. We've learned that a lot during this remote instruction time. They've really helped each other out of a lot of jams and a lot of situations where people are stuck. So they're really, really good at that. So I think that will be good for them. Talk to me about class expectations.
Oh,
What are the expectations in class?
For class, you should, when you come to class, you should always sit down, take your books out, and just sit silently until the teacher says you're allowed to like talk, or like she gives you an assignment to do. And then you're also expected to have all your books and like pencils and pens for class.
Mhm.
Like
Now
ready.
you said that the beginning of the year was kind of get used to things, and it was okay if you forgot a book or something because you could go back and get
Yes.
it, right?
Yeah.
Until we got into the routine. Okay.
Like after the first quarter, they're pretty much like they're more strict with the points.
Hmm.
And then like if you forget your books and stuff, they'll take like that's how you lose points if you forget a book, or if you do something bad in class, or forget homework or something like that. That's how you lose a point.
So you're kind of saying that you need to be prepared for class, you need to pay attention, and you need to be respectful. Would you agree?
yeah.
So
Was it really that different from 5th grade?
Well,
No,
not
not
as
really.
much for us because we had to switch between 3 people, which is sometimes like we had 3
Very true.
classes on like my class on Tuesdays and Thursdays. We only had 3 classes plus specials. So it was pretty much the same on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Yeah, but like the forgetting of the pencil, or I left this here, or what. If you forget that stuff, like they don't start like taking house points and being mean that first day.
Oh, no, they give you like a couple
No, they give
weeks.
you like a couple of months, like
Enough
a
time
month or
for you to
two.
learn what you're doing. They understand.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
They let you ease into things. Like
Great.
they pretty much give you like the whole first quarter to get used to it.
good. That's about as far as my my questions go. Oh, I know. I see one that's an important one. How about asking for extra help?
You can stay up, like if you ask for extra help during like before lunch, your teacher might tell you to stay up for recess and she can help you, or he.
Right,
No,
not
That's
as
almost
punishment.
exactly what Mrs. Zavalik just said about a half an hour ago.
Exactly.
And
I'm looking at
Miss-
you like you're crazy, Mr. D, because they have never seen your Kmart shopper microphone.
Attention Kmart shoppers, attention Kmart shoppers. There's a blue light special in, I don't know, underwear.
I took my headset off and I could
Yeah,
still
and-
hear it.
Go ahead, Ellie.
Also, Mr. Shaw does, if you're like struggling with the math, he also does extra help after school on Wednesdays or Tuesdays or whenever. And like he just has a couple of like 7th graders or people that are really good at math and like understand it, and they can just like help you with it, like your friends.
So if I were an incoming 6th grader and I was really struggling with something, it would be okay for me to go to one of my teachers and say,
Yes.
I'm really struggling with this. Would be okay. Would you be able to help me? They're going to help me, correct?
They're
Yeah,
going to
for
yes, either stay up for recess or to stay after school for a little bit.
And as you're getting older, the expectation is that you're advocating for yourself, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That
they
you're
won't.
telling
They
someone
won't.
I need help.
Yeah, they will not come to you saying that you need help. You have to go to them.
You need to go and ask. We've
Are
been
you-
talking about that a lot.
Are you okay with that? Ellie,
Yes.
are you okay with that?
Yeah.
Is that- yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's not a
Yeah.
problem. It's not bad. That's a good thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing so that you understand it more, and they can help you.
Does any 5th grader have any questions for the 6th graders? Ariana.
Is it hard not having snack?
Is it hard not having snack?
I mean,
No,
if you
not
eat a
really.
good breakfast, or for me, I don't usually eat breakfast.
What?
Yes, you do.
I
No.
normally don't.
I'm teasing. I'm teasing.
You don't eat something, but normally you would do what?
Drink like the chocolate shake or whatever.
Like a carnation instant breakfast, like a protein type of shake, right?
Well, some people are breakfast
That's
people.
what I do too.
Yeah. But
Yeah, it's not really hard once you get used to it.
well, middle school also has first
Early
lunch at 11 o'clock.
Right.
My
Yeah,
lunch is at
so
11:30.
11:30 lunch.
I'm
yeah.
sure 11:30. Yeah.
11:30.
yeah, it's
sorry.
Yeah.
11:30. So if you eat like a really big breakfast, or like, yeah, you can even sometimes eat in house too, like a quick snack or something if you forget
that
to eat
makes sense.
breakfast.
And
Yeah, they'll let you eat like something if you're hungry.
and if you get lucky and get Mr. Shaw either right before lunch or the period before the one that's before lunch, you can have a snack there. So
Yeah, he lets you
Yeah,
have snacks.
Probably as long as it's not distracting. I bet the middle school teachers don't like wrappers
Yeah.
and biscuit bags that crinkle, 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 crinkle and drive Mr. Shaw crazy.
yeah, he's like
They don't.
it's mainly like don't mess up his floor and stuff. Like keep things off the
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah, and they don't like you getting up and throwing away stuff a bunch of times.
No, it's
Mrs.
exactly-
Noyes is a little loose. Like she's fine with it, but some other teachers like Mrs. Zavalik or Senor G,
Distracting.
they don't really like it when you're
Distracting.
getting up a lot.
Yeah. It's distracting to the teacher. It's distracting to everyone else in the room.
Any other questions besides snack? Kenley.
So for like school stuff, would you like prefer the binder or like the thing that you like carry around with you?
Great
Excellent.
question.
So 6th
Great
graders, do you
question.
use a binder or do you use something different?
I used well for the start of the quarter, like the start of the year, I used a binder that had a clear pocket in the front so I could see my so I could see the schedule and it would be easier to move
Did
around.
that work for you?
Yes, but
Where
towards
did-
the end of the year, Dominic and I we made a plan and we after we memorized the schedule, we didn't use a binder anymore, but we put our folders in our backpack and kept all of our papers still organized in the folders.
So you moved from a binder system to a backpack system.
Yeah, binders are helpful. Like they can be helpful at first, like Tyler said, but after a while they can get really heavy, and like when your notebooks and everything are in them, they can get really heavy. So my friend did this. She like bought a bunch of different binders, and depending on what classes she had that day, she had all the notebooks and the folders together. Like if she had religion and English together, she'd put the religion folder and notebook and the English folder and notebook together. So it would just be for that day, and then
Is
she could
she
switch
good
out the binder.
Is your friend good at organizing things?
Yep.
Yeah, no, and I say this because the
No, it's a good
binder,
question.
no, and I mean this.
Yep.
There's nothing wrong with graduating from a binder system to a backpack system.
Right.
But if you know that you forget things and you lose things and you misplace things, that probably won't be a good option for you. You need to kind of decide what works for you as a learner, as a student, and what's going to help you be the most prepared. Excellent.
What
Good.
what I did was I just got a really big backpack, and I didn't put everything for the whole day in there because I also would put notebooks in there because I think binders are.
Is that a good plan? So let's say I go out and buy 2 backpacks and I put everything I own into these 2 backpacks and I just carry those around with me all day.
I didn't say two back. I said one.
I know, but what if I wanted to do that?
Mr. D,
Yes.
I think you would topple over. It's like me carrying my hockey bag.
Yeah, so carrying around everything is probably not the best plan. Excellent. We've got 1 more minute. I will take 1 more question. Grant, James, if you have any questions, you can type it into the chat box. I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to ask any questions.
I have something to add on like the backpack thing. You have time in between classes to go back to the house and get your stuff for the next class.
Can you give me an example?
Like on Tuesday, my first class is religion, and Dominic and I would just go back. We would pack it only religion, the religion book, notebook, and folder in our backpack, and then after religion, you would go back to house because you would have time to get ready for your next class.
Yep.
You'd go back to house, drop off your books from that class, and then you would pick the books up that you had for the next class, and then go to that class, and you can just
Is
go
that
back.
what you did? Is that the strategy that you used?
Yes.
And that worked for you?
I have something though. When you all started the year, did you try to take everything you needed and then you figured out what worked for you as you went along?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
We realized it
especially
was too heavy to carry all the books at once.
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
especially
okay to
Mondays.
start off one way and then kind of change it up a little bit for what's going to work for you as you see what your time is, right? And how the times work.
Yeah, I would take a couple
Yeah.
subjects. I would take like a couple subjects at a time and then come back.
Okay.
Like go to take the classes you have before lunch, then come back from recess, and then take the classes you have after lunch.
Okay. Dominic, how did it work for you?
I did the same thing as Tyler. Me and Tyler did that every day. At first I started with packing. Tyler and I started by bringing every subject, and like sometimes we even carried books because we didn't have enough room. And then we realized that class didn't start immediately after the first subject.
Mm-hmm.
We started packing like 2 books at a time, and then after those 2 classes we'd go back and then bring them. And then we realized that we have 2 minutes like before every single class before it starts. So we realized that just bringing 1 book and then coming right back and then going to the next class worked really well for us. And then
Okay.
we to that.
Good.
Perfect answer.
Any other questions?
I have something to add about
Sure.
like asking for help.
Got 30 seconds.
So our teachers, they will give you help, but if you're never asking questions in class and they don't think that you're participating in class, they most likely will tell you to they'll help you, but they'll definitely help you, but they'll usually tell you to like start paying attention in class and participate, ask questions during class, because if you ask during class, there's more than likely there's other kids that have the same exact question but are too nervous to ask it.
Good point.
Exactly.
Excellent. All right. If there's no more questions, you're free to go, and I will see you at your sorting ceremony.
Whoa, no, boo.
Sixth graders, thank you so much for joining us and answering those questions.
Thank you,
I'm sure it
sixth
was
graders.
super helpful for these guys.
Bye.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.